What's up, everyone? Welcome to Align in the Stars. I'm Jordan, and I'm here today with a very special product review. Now, I don't do a whole lot of these, but in this instance, I felt like it was important because we need to get this model here to the United States. The only way that's going to happen is by us all talking to Fanhome and DeAgostini about it, and really, they're trialing it in France, and so we're relying on the French people to build this, enjoy it, and make DeAgostini make this a full production run, because this 4-stage trial of the Altaia Batmobile 89 is fantastic. I currently do 3 Partwork builds. I'm building the Fanhome and Eagle Moss Enterprise D. I'm building Kit from DeAgostini, and I am also building the Millennium Falcon from DeAgostini. I have experienced many ups and downs with both the Falcon and the Enterprise. Kit so far has been pretty good, but none have rivaled this model so far in product quality, attention to detail, and right off the bat, the trial gets you going in such a way that makes you excited for the build, because some of the things that they're incorporating into this are just simply amazing. Now, this is only 4 stages. That's it. They obviously have these pictures here on the magazines are all of the prototype. They have obviously got this prototyped. It is out there, and let's just say that if it sticks true to the engineering, we are in for a very special treat. So let's go ahead and review the 4 stages that we had to build, and it's basically one of those things where you have a complete look at the quality and the engineering of this model, and it starts right from the very beginning when you're building this. Now, this is obviously the famous engine cone, the very front of the Batmobile, and the turbine engine inlet. And you guys, inside there are rubber bands. I definitely encourage you to watch my live stream. It is on my VOD. I'll go ahead and link that in the description below. I have a VOD of that, and you'll see me remark as inside of here, behind this, and powering the fan is going to be a motor. There are rubber bands, there are pulleys, this spins inside, and there's a fitting for a motor right there. Which means that the turbine engine for the Batmobile actually spins and turns. You guys, that's a motorized part on a Partwork build. Unlike the LaFerrari doors that don't work from Agora, and unlike the front headlights for Kit, for instance, that don't quite work right. This, well, we'll see if this works right, but the engineering of it works really, really well. The matte paint is fantastic. I have been touching it like an idiot, so I'm trying to avoid touching it on the surface too much. But this is a really nice matte paint job. This went together in several different little pieces, and this is a hefty, chunky piece. The grills are put in. Everything looks real. Everything feels real. It feels like matte paint. It doesn't feel cheap. The quality of the parts here, the quality of the engineering, the way this was assembled was incredible. This was a very nice introduction into building this model. Next up, and I can't quite remember which order we built everything in, but this is the rear of the Batmobile and the jet engine or turbine engine exhaust. Each one of those nozzle tips has a cone inside and has, as you can see there, little baffles. I'm not quite sure what those are, but each cone has a little thing, and they also has it on the exhaust tips here as well. There are also placements for LEDs back behind here, so they're planning on putting a little light that's probably using flickering LEDs back behind. The quality of the engineering here is also very, very good, and the attention to detail is very good, like extraordinarily good. As you can see here, look at the color on that exhaust port. Look at that. you get that bluing into the reddish hue back into the base color. And it is also on the inside. It's hard to pick up on camera, but it is also on the inside. And this is all metal, aluminum, which is not something that I've seen too much in Partwork so far. And this is die cast. The backing part is ABS, and it uses a combination of plastic, metal, and flange screws. Fascinating build. This was a lot of fun to do, and as I was going along, I'm just like, my God, this is super cool. Next up was the wheel. Now, I had only done one wheel prior to this. I still have, I'm only in the very beginning stages of the kit, and I have not done any other Partwork builds yet involving a car. And so, getting this gigantic wheel. This is, I wonder how it is in comparison to the size of the wheel on the Tumbler Batmobile from Hachette. But I get the sense that it is likely the same size. This thing is huge. It is heavy, and I had to soak it in hot boiling water for a couple of minutes to get it soft enough to be able to put it onto the hub itself. Cool engineering. The wheel itself is really well built. It feels solid. It feels like it's going to be on there for a very long time. And it turned out so good. This is a very cool wheel. Finally, we have the dash. Now, the dash, I'm going to go ahead and bring up to the camera here. And as you can see here, the detail is just incredible. I'm going to go ahead and power it up in a second. But as you can see here, all of the gauges, all of the dials, everything has a designation. All of the parts went together. The panels went together so incredibly well. And what's amazing to me, my friends, is there is zero light bleed anywhere in this. Well, I say that. A couple around the edges here and there. But unlike Kit's dash, which needs a lot of modifications, and thank goodness for Mike Lane, I can only imagine what he would do with this. Mike Lane, if you're watching, think about this. But there's very little light bleed. And each one of these little panels, each one of the little lights have little it was a combination of black push-in pieces, red button push-in pieces, and silver pieces that you put in behind all of these panels that kind of give the depth and the feel to all the buttons, and you can tell where they all light up. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we? All right, so there it is all lit up, and obviously, you know, the cameras are going to do what cameras are going to do. Thankfully, I got this one set up a little bit so that the blowout isn't too crazy. But as you can see, all of the different little panels are lit up, and they have their little buttons. The monitor's got the buttons at the side. Where we see a little bit of the light bleed is going to be through the monitor. This is where I think Mike Lane would definitely come in and put a proper monitor in here as well. But the buttons along the side of the monitor light up. Each one of the gauges light up. It actually gives it a really nice effect of how like old school gauges used to look back in the day. And then you have the individual switches. You have some green buttons in here. You have some red buttons. And then some of the buttons light up along here. So overall, a really, really cool build and a very cool control console. I see some opportunities for mods down the line. You know, there's plenty of room for growth with this model, and the possibilities really are endless. And I gotta say, just the quality of the build, putting together this dash, putting together the wheel, the front, and the rear. Like, this is a really good intro to making a Partwork be viable. I think that people would really enjoy building this one. I've done a few intros now, and I gotta say that this one was by far the most fascinating. Maybe just outside of Kit, maybe just outside of the Enterprise. I think building the bridge, building the nacelle was pretty cool, but still not as cool as this one. The realization that this motor spins inside of here, the realization that each one of these gauges is lit up and looks really, really fantastic. The fact that everything went together so beautifully well, it was beautifully engineered, and it was such a joy. It was such a joy to build, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds. So, for all of you out there who are interested in the '89 Batmobile from DeAgostini, let them know. Email Fanhome if you're in the United States. Email your representative for DeAgostini wherever you might be in this world and say, hey, we need the 89 Batmobile because this, my friends, is one of those cars that you definitely have to have in 1/8 scale. So, that's what I got for you today, and I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things y'all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me watching me drool about a model that we may never, ever have. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down below. Just to answer one real fast, where did I get this? One of my very kind subscribers decided to reach out and say, hey, I've gotten lucky, and I've gotten a few of these from my buddy in France, so would you like one? And so get a buddy in France. If you don't have one of those, email Fanhome and say, hey, we need the 89 Batmobile. I just want to say thank you. If you guys have any questions, comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. If you'd like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world wherever you happen to be. And just remember that anyone can be a hero.